Hello, welcome to the European Open briefing for Wednesday, September the 27th. I'm Rafi Boyajan, currency analyst at xm.com, and we're going to be looking at what's happening in the currency markets today. So the US dollar is looking much more bullish this morning. Yesterday we had Fed Chair Janet Yellen sounding rather hawkish at a speech in Cleveland. We also have renewed hopes that tax reform tax plans will be passed in Congress, the details of which are expected to be announced later today. But we do still have ongoing tensions over North Korea, which for the moment the markets have decided to shift their attention to what's driving the US dollar higher. The euro continues to struggle. It fell to 5-week lows following that the uncertain German election outcome, where it could take weeks till we find out what coalition Angela Merkel will manage to put together. The pound is also under pressure because of lack of progress in the Brexit talks, while the Aussie and the Kiwi have been hit by the stronger greenback this morning. Let's first start with North Korea, and we can see its effect on the safe haven gold. We can see that yesterday, following the remarks by North Korea that they've interpreted Trump's recent remarks as a declaration of war. We saw the gold rising back above the 1,300 level, rising to around 1,315. They've since slipped back. They're currently trading around $1,290. But those concerns aren't going away. Yesterday, at a press conference in the White House, President Trump said that they would consider taking the military option, which would be devastating for North Korea. He said that it's not the preferred option, but they would do that if they have to. On the other hand, US officials have said that they haven't detected any build-up of military activity along the East Coast, contrary to South Korean reports yesterday. So that suggests that perhaps North Korea isn't planning to take any retaliatory action just yet in terms of, say, fresh missile strikes or some other response. And the main focus, the reason why those latest remarks by President Trump haven't seen too much of a reaction is because US yields are heading higher once again. We're seeing 2-year Treasury yields at 9-year highs. This comes after Fed Chair Janet Yellen said that the Fed will likely continue to raise rates gradually. She said it would be imprudent to keep monetary policy on hold until inflation is back to 2%, and the Fed should be wary of moving too gradually. So that has raised the odds of a December rate hike to around 76% currently, and those odds will likely continue to rise until the December meeting if Fed officials continue to signal such a move. We can see dollar yen is at a 10-week high of 112.78, currently just off those highs at 112.64. The dollar index hit a 1-month high of 93.348, currently trading at 93.26. We also have hopes that a tax reform will go ahead by the end of the year. President Trump and the senior Republicans will announce those details later today. They're likely to include reforms to both personal and corporation tax rates. President Trump will give a speech later in Indiana where he will likely outline those details. And it is becoming increasingly important for the Republicans to pass or to see through those reforms because their lack of success so far with reforming the healthcare bill, the Obamacare, which although was passed by passed in the lower house, the Senate, senior Republican senators have failed to support the bill, which a vote held in the Senate yesterday once again failed. Moving on to European currencies, we can see both the euro and the pound have been drifting lower. The euro hit a 5-week low of $1.1741 a short while ago. That's because the markets are nervous about the political uncertainty in Germany, where Angela Merkel failed to secure a majority, and the potential impact on Eurozone policy that it could have if the smaller parties request concessions from Angela Merkel in return for their backing. Also, comments by ECB officials continue to suggest that the ECB will move very gradually in terms of scaling back its stimulus program. So that has been weighing on the euro. The pound, on the other hand, has been hit by concerns about Brexit. Yesterday, European Council President Donald Tusk met Prime Minister Theresa May in Downing Street and said that there is no sufficient progress yet. And also, further weighing on the pound is Moody's downgrade for the UK's credit rating, which is not just about the downgrade itself, but also the potential impact on the British economy due to the prolonged uncertainty of a Brexit. Pound hit a 2-week low of 1.3361, currently trading just above those lows at 1.3376. Although against the euro, the pound is doing much better because of that Eurozone uncertainty hitting the euro. Euro pound is currently trading at a 10-week low. Moving on to the Australian and New Zealand dollars, both currencies have been hit by the stronger greenback. The Australian dollar has also been hit by falling iron ore prices, although yesterday iron ore prices did recover by 3%, though that's still a fraction of the losses seen during since the start of September. The Aussie hit a 6-week low of 0.7844 a short while ago, while the New Zealand dollar has managed to steady somewhat. Yesterday it hit a 3-week low. It did manage to recover back above the 0.72 level against the dollar. It's currently trading slightly below that level at the moment. And of course, we also had elections in New Zealand on Saturday, where again there the ruling party failed to gain a majority, and like in Germany, it could take weeks before a government is formed. Although unlike Germany, in New Zealand we don't know whether the ruling party will remain in power, because that depends on which way the third largest party will decide to go. So all of that is causing quite a bit of uncertainty for the Kiwi. But in the near term, the focus will likely turn to the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, which meets tomorrow to set its latest monetary policy decision. Quick look at oil prices. We can see both WTI and Brent crude are holding near their multi-month highs. Yesterday, WTI hit a 5-month high. Brent crude hit a 26-month high of just below $60 a barrel. Yesterday's API inventory report showed a drop in US crude stocks, so that gave further support to prices. And we're going to have the latest, the official inventory numbers from the US government later in the day. But the Canadian dollar hasn't really benefited much from that surging oil prices. The loonie is in a bit of a technical correction. It's down by 2.7% from its 2-year high it achieved early in September. The focus today will be the Bank of Canada Governor Stephen Polo's speech at 15:45 GMT, where he will likely comment on monetary policy. And that's going to be important because there were expectations that we could potentially see another rate hike by the Bank of Canada this year, but those odds fell slightly after some officials expressed concern about the stronger loonie. So it's going to be interesting to see what the governor will say about further rate hikes later in the day. Looking at today's economic calendar, the main data later in the day will be durable goods out of the US and pending home sales, as well as the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. That's on Thursday, depending on your time zone. But it will be late US trading hours in the US. We're going to have a number of speeches apart from Bank of Canada governor. We're also going to have Fed speakers continuing to make their public appearances, including Neil Kashkari, the Minneapolis Fed president, James Bullard, the St. Louis Fed president, and Fed Governor Lyle Briner. That's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.